What is going on? Brian Carroll here, powerxstrength.com HQ, here in the executive PRS office. This new series that I'm going to be doing is going through MRIs. I'm going to be talking about MRIs and their importance, how they do matter, why I suggest someone that's been dealing with back pain or hip pain or any type of injury, I suggest getting scanning if you've had pain enough to start pursuing a solution to it. I think it's best to get an MRI to remove any chance of a red flag symptom or some kind of severe cancer or cyst. But again, you need to go to your doctor, your primary care physician, to get checked out to start with. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm not a radiologist. I'm not superseding any information that you've been given by your provider. I'm giving you context on the people that come here to see me and if their MRI is relevant, and sometimes they are very relevant, other times not so much. So I'm going to give you some context of some spines that look really bad from an MRI perspective. It might be a bone or ligament or facet or multiple levels of end plate damage and disc bulging. And they may have very little pain, or their pain might be completely gone at this point. There's some studies that show up to 50% or even more people that have a disc bulge, they don't have any symptoms. Well, that's fine. That's great. But what about the other percent of people that do have disc bulges and have pain? Is it coming from that disc bulge? I don't know. That's why we need to do the assessment and how the MRI can help us navigate that pathway. And it's only a portion of the assessment that we do here at powerxstrength.com, but it is an important assessment aspect, and I do recommend you do get an MRI and clear yourself of red flags with your general practitioner. And if those things have failed and you've exhausted yourself, then you can reach out to me at powerxstrength.com and book an assessment with me. So enjoy this series. Take it with a grain of salt that the MRI can be helpful. And if you do have back pain, you probably should consider getting an MRI. We're going to focus on relevant findings. I hope you enjoy this series. Comment below what you think. Thank you so much. And I'm going to be looking at a particular image today in a T2 sagittal and T2 axial plane. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background on this client and let you know what was going on with him. This person in particular had been suffering from back pain for quite a few years, about 5 to 7 years, and it would be intermittent. It would come and go. This person had a history of falls. They had a history of doing a scorpion, snowboarding. They have a history of achy pain in the back, achy pain up into the upper lumbar, lower thoracic region. They've had pain around the knee, both sides. And the doctor, the pain management specialist, the PTs all said, there is no way that this pain is coming from your back. We've looked at your MRI. There's no way that your knee pain and your quad pain and your leg randomly giving out is coming from your back. Now, keep in mind, they went to the clinicians, they went to the pain management, they went to the doctors, they went to the neurosurgeon, they went to the orthopedic, and all of them said that there's no way your pain is coming from your back. So he came here for an assessment. This person is in his 30s. He's healthy otherwise, doesn't really have any other health issues going on, but his leg and his back were killing him. And the back symptoms had relieved. He would just have a little bit of tightness every once in a while, but both of his legs in particular, it would jump from side to side. Sometimes it'd be his left leg that would hurt, sometimes his right leg would hurt, and he would get sciatic symptoms down his hamstring, and he would get femoral symptoms on the front of his thigh. And as we know with the dermatomes, front of the thigh is typically going to correspond with L1, L2, L3. And on the back side here, we have L1, L2, L3 as it wraps around. And then the lower L4, L5, S1 will be here, and that wraps around. L5 comes down the IT band there. L5 comes down here. It gets the tibialis. It's the big top part of the foot into the big toe. Whereas S1 is a little bit more lateral in the smaller toe there. And S1 is more hamstring here. So he's getting some S1 symptoms, some L5 symptoms, and then crazy hip, leg, and knee pain. So he's getting a few different dermatomes of pain, and it would go from no pain to hurting and to confusing all the doctors to hell and back because he had a dynamic disc bulge on multiple levels. So after the assessment, we were able to determine that many falls has caused him a little bit of listhesis. He tested positive for the spondy test. He didn't do well with shear, with flexion, with extension, but we were able to modulate the pain a bit with some stiffening strategies and a pathway of core stiffening and removing the cause to free up the femoral and the sciatic nerve roots. And so after I found the generators of pain and was time to come in and look at the MRI, because I don't look at the MRI or even read the radiologist report before doing the assessment, I came in and looked at the MRI, and here's what I found. So again, we're looking at this from the side view, sagittal, okay? And this is directly from the side, and we do a little bit of landmarking. We have S1, L5, L4, L3, L2, L1, T12, T11, T10, okay? We can already see here that he's lost disc height and has some Schmorl's nodes, which is some vertebral end-plate fractures into the vertebral body. You have the end plate that takes and attaches disc to the end plate with Sharpie's fibers. And so those become damaged, and then you have a bulge into the inferior end plate of the vertebral body or the superior end plate. And so we have some compression damage. He was compression intolerant along with flexion, extension, rotation, and his femoral nerve roots were positive as well as his sciatic nerve roots on multiple levels. And so we go and we look and we can see that he doesn't have much disc height up in his upper lumbar spine. But then we start to turn and move through. We can definitely see here why he would have some hip and knee pain, as we know that the hip and the knee from the dermatomes will be coming from the upper lumbar. So we have L5, L4, L3, L2, L1. So we can see right there that he could be getting a little bit of friction there as he's damaged his end plates here a bit, as they're a little bit bright and glowing a bit. Then we can see here he's lost the disc height. You got a little bit of disc there, but not very much. We got bulge. We got a bulge there. We got very much narrowing as the spine has a bit of an unnatural shape, and he's lost his normal lordotic curve as he comes down. That spine is really straight, and it's curving actually the wrong way. We should have a little bit more curvature here. Hyperintense signal here and here into the end plate, maybe a little bit of an annular tear here, cartilage tear. And then we see now why he has pain on multiple levels. Depending on what he's doing, this disc on multiple levels, right here, up at L1, L2, he can get some friction there. And as we go down, we can see he's narrowed off there significantly. There at L2, L3, which again is the femoral nerve root. And as we scan through here, we can see that he's lost disc height and he has damage into his posterior aspect of his spine. And we're going to look at that in the axial cut here soon. But looking down the sciatic roots down here, you can see that he's quite narrowed off and doesn't have a bunch of room in his neural foramen here at L5, S1, L4, L5, and L3, L4. And we see a bit of compression damage, modic change there, and significant modic changes here all throughout the end plates on pretty much every level. For the doctor to say there's nothing wrong with your spine is pretty insane to me when we find the MRI to line up with the actual assessment to see multiple levels of damage, compression intolerance, flexion intolerance, shear intolerance, and we see some straightening of the lumbar spine, and we can see why he has pain. Okay, as the cord is significantly narrowed there, as we come down, as we rotate, we can see more disc bulging and more narrowing there. And we do a full 360 degrees around. And the fact that the doctor would say that there's no way that your knee pain is coming from your back is crazy without doing an assessment. So now we're going to look at the axial cut. So we're looking straight down as if we cut him in half. And we're going to look at an axial cut. This is kind of an odd cut MRI. We can see that cord is lit up with inflammation there. And so see a little bit of disc bulging right there into the cord, and then narrowing more on his right side foramen than he is on his left side. Again, a little bit of facet effusion there where they're a bit swollen and have a little bit of edema, and it narrows that exiting nerve root there more here on the right side. Again, left is right and right is left on this type of cut. And we could see here narrowed off significantly again on his right side. It's left on the screen, but the exiting root comes out, and then he's narrowed off, and he's definitely stressed his neural arch and his articular pillar there and his facet joints. And then we keep going up, and then we're just blurry here. I guess he might have been moving a little bit there, but look at that. So there's his nucleus, and then look how narrowed he is in the exiting foramen, which can absolutely friction up those nerve roots significantly, bilaterally on both sides, both his left side and his right side, and cause those symptoms. Even though the nucleus is contained somewhat, it's circumferentially bulging, and that sac is compromised from both the anterior portion and the posterior. And here is the most pain-provoking area. So you see how his disc is basically deformed back here, and it's chewed up, and it's bulging a little bit more here and then bulging here. So both lateral recesses are impacted as the nerve root exits there. But this person was having anterior thigh pain and knee pain on both sides, and the doctor could not figure out why he was having pain on both sides. And look at that, the end plate and the vertebra is all beat up and chewed up, and that could be partially a bad image. But this MRI matched up the assessment that we found. The upper lumbar levels were frictioning the femoral nerve roots and in some cases pushing on them. His femoral nerve root test, the femoral nerve root, leg curl, and head position were positive for him for bilateral nerve friction. His sciatic single leg raise, straight leg raise was provoking pain. And it's just unbelievable that the doctor would say that, no, there's no way the pain could be coming from your back. And this is where he was getting his sciatic pain lower down as we work our way down back towards the sacrum here. And we can see how he's narrowed off on both sides as that disc is not contained and it's flattened a bit. And that disc can bulge and become dynamic depending on what he's doing. And we were able to provoke his pain during the assessment. Now, we don't have an after MRI with this particular case, but as we pull up the dermatomes chart once again, we can see that his upper lumbar innervate here, so L4 is definitely getting his knee, and then all the hip pain that was radiating down his anterior thigh here, and then his posterior S1 root was positive on the testing, and clearly he was having friction, if not pinching, on both sides, but his disc bulges were dynamic. Depending on what posture we put him in, if we flexed him and bended him, we provoked the pain either in his knees or in his back. We stiffened him, we were able to remove it. Now, the good news is, again, the dermatomes here, the cord, the descending nerve roots. The good news, after about 3 months of spine hygiene, his pain went away. And it started with his back wasn't tight anymore, and then occasionally he'd have some thigh and some hamstring pain. His knee started getting less and less buggy. The orthopedic swore that it was his knee causing him pain, and he knew better because both knees were intermittently causing him pain. And after about 3 months of spine hygiene and winding down his pain, he didn't feel the necessity to go get a follow-up MRI. He is back to lifting light and following the plan that I gave him. And he's back to enjoying life in his 30s as he should be. And he's getting back to doing the snowboarding and all the things that he likes to do too fast. But it took him a couple of months to start winding down the pain, getting the symptoms out of his legs. We did some femoral nerve root flossing, some sciatic nerve root flossing, and then simply tummy line to settle that disc herniation and different positions of reprieve, and slowly built up his core and his atrophied spinal extensor muscles. And now he lives pain and symptom free as he progresses and builds more and more resilience with the plan that I gave him. So once again, you're not your MRI, but sometimes someone doesn't take the time to actually go through your MRI to understand what's actually causing you pain, and they dismiss you. And that's why we're here doing what we do right now at PowerX Strength. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what I'm doing, please like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. If you haven't seen one of our latest videos, go right here. Read more about me at powerxstrength.com right here. Thank you so much for watching today and tuning in. If you got a comment, drop it below. Tell me how much you like me or you don't like me, or what you'd like to see from us as far as content goes. Have a great day and see you soon.